Hello, my name is Ankush Bhatt and I welcome you to the short demo in which I'll explain you about how digest authentication works in case of API testing in Tosca. So let's switch to Tosca. Okay, even before going into how digest authentication works in case of Tosca, we'll see what digest authentication is. So, digest authentication is a method in which all the requests for access from client devices are received by the network server and then sent to the domain controller. It's basically one of the standard methods that is used by the web server to authenticate the credentials of a user agent or we can say web browser. These credentials are actually hashed or encrypted before being sent, ensuring that the data that we are sending is not in the form of clear text form. So that means the credentials, whatever we are sending, that those credentials are not in the text format. Those are encrypted, and no one else can will be able to just see the credentials. Okay, so now we'll see how this digest authentication works in case of API testing in Tosca. We'll go to API testing ribbon and I'll click on API scan. Okay, now I will give it the name of say digest auth. This is my new message. I've clicked on, I've changed the name to digest auth. So I have one endpoint here, HTTP, which is basically a REST service. So I will just quickly write the full endpoint here, web service dot tosca cloud dot com slash rest slash API slash secure employee underscore v2. Okay, this is my endpoint. So as this is my get method, I have not mentioned anything in my payload. Now I'll just send this particular request. After sending this request, in response, I got the status code as 401 unauthorized. That means this particular REST service is unauthorized, which means that we need some authorization here so as to let this request response pair work. So, how we will do it? We'll go to the authorization in the auth tab, as you can see here. After that, in the authentication drop down, I'll select digest. Okay, here we need to give the username and password. A username and password. I have given the username and password. So that means when I'll be hitting this particular endpoint, when I'll be sending the request, I have one authorization also which is associated to this particular endpoint. Then Tosca will take this authentication also in consideration and will send the request. And in turn, when it will confirm the credentials, it will give me some response. So these credentials which I had mentioned in the here, so these credentials are hashed or encrypted before they are sent. So after they are encrypted, and it's just for ensuring that the data is never gets transmitted in clear text format. Okay, so this is how digest authentication works in case of API testing in Tosca. Thank you.